Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? So we're gambling today. Everybody likes to gamble. We gambled a few months ago. It paid off. The red Chevy Avalanche that had a bad 4L60. We traded a blown up Honda 2.4 engine for a good 4L60 from some random guy in a beat up Ford Ranger headed to the scrapyard. And it worked. It actually worked really well. The transmission was in perfect shape. We just had to put it in and spend some money on fluids. So we're gambling again today. Behind us, this is my sister's 2010 Ford Mustang V6. It is a automatic. It has the 5R55S piece of crap transmission in it. They're sealed units. There's no dipstick to check the fluid and stuff. And Dad's trying to break some bolts loose on But yeah, so the transmission's gone out in this thing. It's been having shifting codes and stuff for months now. It had already lost a couple gears that she was still limping it around back and forth to work. These transmissions used are well over $1,500 in our area. If you buy a new one, you're talking close to $3,000-$4,000. And that's if you order like online to one of those like Mr. Transmission websites. If you get it rebuilt around here, it's $3,500 to have it rebuilt with a 1-year warranty. So we were kind of waiting it out to see if we could get one from the junkyard somewhere. And then we have found one. So Taylor found this one. Here's another 5R55S. This one's supposedly 100K on it or so. I don't know about that. They did say it was good as well, and they're just parting the car out. I'm really hoping that's the case, because like I said, these are sealed units, so you pump fluid in through the bottom of the pan after you pre-measure it. I don't know. We'll have to see. This is where you fill it, by the way. You drain everything out through here, and then they make a special tool that threads up into there, and you pump fluid up from the bottom into the pan. So with enough of the spinning and twirling going around, there's the Mustang. Let's start pulling this bad boy out, stabbing the new trans in, and let's see if this... Oh, I didn't know if the transmission was $400 for the other one. So hopefully it works. I mean, for $400, it's a gamble, but we're gambling. Roll the dice, boogeyman. Back underneath the car. We have soaked the transcooler lines so we can take them loose. Got most of the wiring harness off the driver's side. You've got the shift selector and then the gear shifter cable right here. Both of those are now removed. Oxygen sensors are unplugged. Exhaust is removed. It's got the two pieces that come down and cross right there with the cats in them. All that's out. Rear drive shaft, all that stuff is out. I got this little cross member that goes across here. Cross member goes across. It's out because you got to have that extra room to drop the transmission straight down when it comes out. It doesn't come back very far. So we did torque converter bolts. You pull the starter out to get to the studs inside here. It has 4 on these. Oh, and we got the torque converter bolts out. They come through here. It's got 4 of them, 4 studs, come out with nuts on them. Go through the starter hole. We now have all the bell housing bolts out, wiring harness completely disconnected, transcooler lines off, the whole shebang. And we think we've got everything unhooked. So now, put one pump on the trans jack. Put one pump on, you said? Yeah, one pump. Yeah, one pump on the trans jack. Okay. Come up. Okay. Should be already out. And then come backwards? Yeah, hold on. Let's angle this up.
I've got a wiring harness that's kind of just laying there, I think. I can tell.
Almost. Okay. Let it down.
Okay. Slowly.
Yep. Looking good. Looking great. Come on down.
It kind of sounds like one of them horns that play at funerals.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like a bagpipe.
If that's what it is. I couldn't think what instrument. I just know.
Yeah, Will plays the bagpipe. I don't know if anybody knew this, but my brother William plays the bagpipe.
He's got to play it for him.
He's got like the kilt and everything. So Will, if you're watching this.
Is he Scottish?
No.
No.
No. Will is Polish.
Let me get
But
something
he
to
plays,
fix
he
this.
plays the bagpipe.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty cool.
If I can find a picture of Will with his bagpipe and his kilt and everything on, I'm going to put it in the video right here. If not, I'm sorry.
If not, we're just going to get it to do it.
Yeah. There you go. There's your 5R55S Ford transmission that is no bueno. The problem circled right there. These are the Mustangs that if the transmission doesn't go, then the timing chain guide will, or the rear end will.
That timing chains.
So, but anyway, this one's almost to the 200,000. Oh, I just figured out why this car's lasted so long. This is a new motor.
So we could figure it out.
Mom and Dad bought this car when Dad came out of the hospital a few years ago from his heart transplant. Mom had a 09 silver Mustang, this body style, and we had to get rid of it while Dad was in the hospital because couldn't afford everything at the time. So when he got out, one of the first things he did was he went and bought Mom this Mustang from a car lot that we know pretty well in town. And it's been a great car. We got a good deal on it. But we had a rear end failure in it last year, I think, and we put a used rear end in it. They had to bring this rear end all the way from Florida. This was the only one they could find in our axle code and everything. So put the new rear end in it. That seemed to take care of the problems we had in the back at the time. And then the trans started going. We thought the trans was dead in the water about a year ago. And so we dropped the pan. I changed the filter. We changed some solenoids, did an adjustment on it. And lo and behold, it came right back to life. It was still, you could tell it was weak if you really floored it and gave her the beans. But it would go, and it was shifting. So we decided, let's just see how long it'll go. Well, Taylor works for a convenience store company where she does a bunch of traveling for their audits all over the East, and she was putting a ton of miles on this car with this transmission that was just slowly knocking on heaven's door. And then finally, she was down in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it just pretty much gave up the ghost. It went down to first and second gear, nothing else, and she limped it all the way back home from Charlotte, and that was pretty much the end of it until today. So Dad drove it here from the house so we could do this transmission after she found a good 5R55S. Well, we hope a good 5R55S. But anyway, this motor has always ran. Go ahead.
I didn't want to make too much noise.
Ah, you're fine.
Okay, 1 second. That's a stream on a finger you saw.
But the motor has always ran fantastic. No issues out of the engine other than a bunch of thermostat housings that leak because they're plastic. I mean, we put one every 8 months in this car, and they warranty it back out.
I had a problem on the coolant fan.
Oh, yeah.
Pigtail melted. We had to make a jumper.
Yep, the electronic cooling fan had an issue where the harness started to fry, which is also common in these Mustangs and the older ones. Anyway, up here we just noticed, if you look right there, that's what's called a heat tab. When you get a new engine, they put these heat tabs all over the heads and the crank, or the heads and the bottom of the block. That way, so if you overheat the engine, the chemical bond that's made by the adhesive will weaken and the tab will fall off so that they can check and see if you cooked this engine. Because if you overheated it, it's not under warranty. Here's our new transmission, new to us, and I just noticed the shaft on the front of the torque converter is made different. So this one, one, it's much shorter, and two, the bevel is different on it. This one has two different step points. It's got this, and then it steps up again. And then the front of the torque converter housing is, wow, that thing is hot as fire.
Oh yeah.
That torque converter is still hot. But then this little hump plate looking thing on the front of the torque converter sticks out a little bit different. I don't know if that's gonna make a difference when it goes to putting it in or not. I hope not. I looked at the flywheel. The flywheel looks like it could accept either one. So you've got the primary hole for the bearing, and then you can see in there it steps up to a different size when it gets further in, but ours doesn't go that far in, so maybe it won't matter. I don't know. I think what we're going to try to do is just stab it in and see what happens.
These tags, is that part of...
New transmission is sitting on the jack now. We're going to give it a go. We have lined the flywheel up to the 12 and 6 o'clock angle right there with the holes for the torque converter bolts. Because these torque converters have studs that stick out. So you roll your torque converter to the 12 to 6 o'clock position like so, and it helps line everything up. Now I'm going to hit this center portion with some fluid film and do the same thing to that hole in there just to help it slide together and keep it from rusting if somebody takes it back apart. Transmission is installed. Exhaust is back on, drive shaft's in, cross member, front bracket, starter, cooler line bracket, oxygen sensors all plugged back up. Everything's pretty much ready to go. I don't think they drained fluid out of this thing when they pulled it, and we filled up the torque converter with 2 quarts. By the way, we used the torque converter out of our old transmission. After looking at it, trying to get some things lined up in there, it looked like it was not going to fit the way we needed it to. So we swapped converters and everything went right together. Hopefully that won't come back to bite us in the ass later, but for now, that's what we're gonna do. We're probably gonna crack this and see how much fluid does come out. You're supposed to check it running when it's warm. I think we're gonna pull it just to check. Then I'm gonna lower it down, fire it up, let it run, get it up to about 100 degrees. That's what the transmission wants. So we'll just monitor it with a scanner and then boop, blop, bloop, put some fluid in it, take it out for lunch, see how it does. If it does. All right, here we go. We took the transmission pan down, cleaned the pan out, checked the filter, knocked the dent out of it, put it back in, put new fluid in it, pumped it all back up in there through the hole in the bottom with our special tool. Car sat down, just put the battery back in it. We're gonna fire it up and see if it'll run through the gears. Fingers crossed. There was fluid still in it, so.
I get the button stick and I can spray something in that thing. Looks like a slip in there. Down the road we go.
Oh, those shifts feel so much better. Oh man. I think we've got a winner. It down gears. Oh. like that. I'm gonna call this one a success. In overdrive at about 45. That's full torque converter lockup. Merge into traffic. One little flare right there going into third. But before, this car had 2 gears. It had first and second gear. And we now have all 4 gears and a torque converter lockup. And it was a $400 transmission we're gambling on, so the car wouldn't drive before, and now it's driving. I'm even though it's a slow shift, maybe it'll work back into it, maybe not. Might have to go in there and put a solenoid or something. We don't have any codes on the dash. This generation Mustang will throw a red wrench up here on the dash. Now, in most cars, that's usually related to an electronic throttle body failure, but in a Mustang of this era, that's a transmission fault if you have an automatic. And this, as you can clearly see, is an automatic. So that light was on before, check engine light was on before for a bunch of shift solenoid codes. All that stuff has went away, gone. So I think this is going to be a winner. It's driving, it's shifting. I did notice when I backed out of the shop, it's got a slow delay going into drive, but it does engage. So like I said, compared to the $1,800 it was going to cost for a transmission elsewhere, I'd say this is working. So let's try this again. Let's see, come to a full stop, zoom you guys out. Here's reverse, straight into reverse, neutral, drive. There's drive. So it's still slow going into drive, but I mean, it's going straight into reverse, so there we go. Yeah, slow into drive, but it's still going into drive. I think that's gonna work. So we gambled on a $400 transmission, and it looks like our gamble has paid off. So what do you guys think? Not too bad for 400 bucks. Drop a comment down below, let us know what you think. That's gonna wrap up this one. We might do another video of it in the future. We do plan on getting a front control arm kit and maybe throwing some shocks and stuff on it. It needs the suspension work pretty bad, but we just had to get it back on the road right now so she can get back to work. And this was the cheapest option, and it looks like it may have worked in our favor. So drop that comment down below. Let me know what you think. And folks, we're going to catch you in the next one. I'm signing off here. Thanks for watching.